Good morning from Colombo, Sri Lanka. It's 1:30 in the morning here. I believe it's around 7 o'clock in New South Wales, Australia. As usual, I will be hosting this AMA with Kumu and Dr. Priyantha also online right now. Well, first of all, let me introduce myself. My name is Sachith, and I'm a director of Solar Full Cycle. Basically, I'm managing most of the use case and passive income research and other development with our team. And my co-host Kumu is program administrator of Solar Full Cycle, and she's to reaching out for more marketing of the use case. And today we have a very special guest from Australia. And before we start the AMA, I want to remind you that we had another AMA yesterday with the SFC team, and we discussed about upcoming passive income projects and how it's going to connected to this AMA. Isn't it, Kumu?
Yes, Sachit. Hi everyone, greetings from Colombo. Some of you might be starting your day while some of you are still ending one. We are starting our day here in Colombo even without ending our previous day. Actually, we concluded a successful day with back to back meetings. They were really fruitful. We laid foundations for a few more new relationships. We will be sharing the news with you very soon. In short, we are joining with you today with some positive vibes. Isn't it, Sajid?
Exactly. And also we met Mr. Lalit Gunaratna, our co-founder from Canada. He was in Colombo yesterday. I think he's flying back to Canada right now. And tomorrow we are conducting another Zoom meeting with the solar panel manufacturer from Japan to talk about SFC and Sakura joint venture. So let's get back to the AMA today. Our guest today is Dr. Nessar Khan. He's a PhD scholar and also an entrepreneur from New South Wales, Australia, and he was also involved in solar home systems, solar pumps, biogas, and wind energy. And in 2017, he became the CEO by co-founding Kratos Energy Pty Ltd, which is a successful EPC company operating in New South Wales. So let us welcome Dr. Nisar Khan, everybody. Hello, Dr. Khan. How are you, sir? How's work and family? I think, Doctor, you have to press the unmute button and then you can talk.
Yeah, Dr. Nissa, I'm
Yes,
Priyantha, Dr. Priyantha. He wants to speak now. He was almost there.
yes, he's here.
Uh,
Yeah.
Dr.
You can hear.
Hello,
Nissa,
Doctor.
you, yeah,
Yeah, can you hear
carry
me?
on. Yes, thank you. Yes,
Yeah.
we can.
Good morning, everyone. And I'd like to thanks to SFC, Priyanka and Sachit for organizing this event and for giving me the opportunity to talk a little bit and touch upon. Before I begin, I would like to introduce myself. My name is Nessar Khan. Uh, by profession, actually, I'm an electrical engineer, and I've been working in the renewable energy sector more than 15 years. Originally, I'm from Bangladesh, and that's where, of course, after I finished my studies here in Australia, I worked for a while, and then I went back to Bangladesh uh, in early 90s, and I got involved in my family business. So that's where we are manufacturer of ceramics, porcelain, tableware, like you have Dankatu and Noritake, similar kind of stuffs. And I was, expanding that business. And later on, I thought that I must do something in my field, and renewable energy, was coming up. So I got engaged and have done a lot of work in that sector, and kind of pioneer in Bangladesh to introduce the off-grid solar home system, powering the rural areas where the electricity and grid connection was a challenge. And we have been very, very successful. We got funded from World Bank and other donors to scale up the programs. And later on, when the grid penetration expanded, we moved into more on grids related renewable energy power for urban areas and solar farms and so forth. And since I have always have a strong bondage and link with Australia, so and my family was living down here, so I thought that I do something here in Australia. So eventually I moved back again in 2017, and as Dr. Priyanka has mentioned that I have set up the company Kratos Energy Pty Ltd together with one of my friend. We both did engineering together back then. His name is Raja Chauraya, originally from India, and our primary focus on the rooftop solar and solar farms. Just to give you an idea, Australia has one of the highest penetration of the rooftop solar in the world. Every year, 2 gigawatt of solar from the rooftop is connecting to the grid. Apart from that, of course, the solar farms. So every year in Australia, around 4 to 5 gigawatt of solar connecting to the grid. So you can imagine the solar farms and its capacity over the period of time. And solar has been active in Australia with different subsidies by the government, different promotion schemes, and all these things to encourage people to go green, save the planet. And in Australia, unfortunately, compared to our country, the electricity power bill is very, very high, very expensive. So average power bill is per kilowatt hour. A customer is paying about 25 to 30 cents Australian, so which is reasonably high. So solar brings the price down. So which is also, that's why more people lean into the solar. However, the challenge is, when this program started, probably nobody thought this panel, every product or project we do, there is a life, and the solar panel has also a life. So it can go up to 25 years. And what will happen after 25 years? You're protecting the environment using the solar power, but then you are dumping these panels on the ground. That means creating another problem to the environment. So when I've been approached by Dr. Priyantha on this concept, I have accepted it. This is really good. There are some companies that doing this kind of recycling or have started or have thought process, but not in a structure or in a proper way what have been shared by SFC, which is a very unique model. And I think there is a very good opportunity here in Australia, as we have one of the highest solar penetration and density in the country. And of course, in next to 10 to 12 years time, the things will begin. So I think is the timing is right, appropriate, and if we team up, and if we plan it properly, site allocation and all these things. Australia has a vast land and all these things. We can allocate some sites, location. I have did some groundwork, some homework, uh, and we can do that nationwide and be able to be successful in the field. And our target is to first to aim the large solar farms, because these are big projects, big companies, too easy to handle. And then we have to work out a mechanism how we do to the individual houses or roofs, because that process is a little bit cumbersome, but there is a ways, because there is a organization called CEC, Clean Energy Council. And Clean Energy Council is the one who, everybody must have to follow their rules and regulations, and they have the complete database, whatever solar installed. And there is also government green board, because these are all carbon traded and all these things. So we have to work out with them and work out with other stakeholders for the residential. But for the large solar farm, we can have one-to-one sign up and do something together.
Yes,
So
doctor. Thank you. So,
do you have any question at this point?
yes, doctor. I mean, I saw that there was a recent news about New South Wales and Queensland. I mean, besides what you're talking about, I saw there is
Yes,
a news
yes.
about Warrakamba Dam spilling in New South Wales and Queensland are both affected by that. So I want to know about how this is going to be affected to the solar power plants in the area. And also, I hope none of your family or your friend are affected by this flooding.
Oh, actually, it is very unfortunate. We can't have much control on the mother nature on these. I've been living, in Australia nearly 35 years, but we never had rain 3 consecutive weeks, continuously. Right now it's stopped, but last 2 weeks it's been raining, raining, raining. Yeah, it happens. And but the solar farms where has been built, and when they do the projects, they do the analysis on the flooding and this, what is the highest level of floods. So I don't think none of the solar farms has been affected. Mostly the lowland area and close to the creeks and lakes, they have been flooded because the water level has gone up. uh, and also government now planning and working how to improve the drainage system, what to do about it. It's a challenging, of course, especially northern part of New South Wales and some of the part of Queensland state, in the south of Queensland, has been badly affected uh, with the rains. But this is something we need to deal with it, and this is part of the global warming, and that is why we are sometimes, even when the weather is changing, even summer times the weather we feel very cold. Winter time also it's not that cold. So things, that is the challenge ahead of everywhere all around the world, I think.
Yes, yeah, yeah.
Thanks.
Okay, doctor.
Kumu,
Uh,
excuse me, let
yes.
me butt in with earlier in the day, our small team here, we exchange a few items to ask Dr. Nessa. We can jump from, skip some of the items, one, two, three, four, whatever. We have a piece of paper and jump right into the actual subject here. The subject here is how the SFC Kratos Energy joint venture, the business model, it can match towards the business model, which is really very clearly there. On the one side, how we could make so if you go to, for example, the idea that without waiting for 20, 25 years or even 15 years after solar panels started, Dr. Nessa, how now there must be another input flow of solar material, which is through the broken solar panels. Now, in Colombo, we have a couple of companies who already are in the process of installing. They have broken solar panels quite a bit. And unless it's covered by insurance or buyback guarantee from the manufacturer, those are also there to be taken. So that's from that standpoint. How do you see the availability of raw material for our operation, which is recycling? So the broken panels and so on and so forth. How do you see that?
Yes, actually, as I just mentioned, that Australia has the highest penetration of solar, one of the highest penetration. We need to first of all do the mapping. Where are the solar farms located? What are the capacity? All this information we need together. We have to talk to the relevant concern of the solar farms and sign up with them, and and the recycling plant or whatever we do, the process, it have to be nearby, or we have to make a zoning that where I don't I have very limited idea on the cost involved in setting up such kind of recycling plant, or we have a centralized one, we collect everything and bring it. Those things we need to do homework, because Australia is a developed country and the cost of labor is very, very high. So, and the transportation, and that is a very big country. So if we have a centralized one, and then we have something coming from Western Australia part to Sydney, it is 3, 4, 5 days it takes by truck or whatever transport mode we use. So we have to, the logistic is also very important, how we structure it, how we plan it. So I think there are a lot of homework at the background need to be done together. We need to sit, and the best option I recommend that if you come over here, some now the border has been opened in near future, in next few months, and then we can sit down and do some due diligence, do some homework, and set an action plan how you move forward in the field
Sure, sure.
identify the
Doctor,
site location.
that's great. Fantastic. Dr. Nessa, let me also walk you into the other business arena, which is right up in our operating alley. Now, we are a blockchain based facility, a foundation, if you like, using a token to monetize the value systems here on the one side. We hedge our work against the value of our crypto coin, SFC coin. We are backed by our sponsor organization, a mother organization, Save Planet Earth, which is SPE UK. They're growing trees to sequester carbon. So we are all in the climate business here. Now, what I said is walk you into the business, the core of the business. Here is, I know that you also being an electrical engineer like I am, been designing solar systems, and now there's this interest about the virtual currencies around the world, which is pioneered by the Bitcoin in Japan. Then you had all these other things like Dogecoin, Ethereum coming in. Now, the typical operation of SFC is based on that as well. What we do, we hedge our negotiations, our arrangements with recycling opportunities with this coin, the token rather. So basically, what we like to, you also being a designer of crypto mining facilities as well, like I am. Uh, uh, with the Australian government legitimizing the crypto systems, it's not illegal in Australia. So, how do you see are they averse to look at having a hedging mechanism of our tokens and crypto values into when we buy a solar system from say user farm or something, that's about 7 8 years left or 10 years 25. So we go and say, hey, look, we want to pre-book these panels which are coming out of the system one day, end of life. So then we use our typical mechanism, which is hedging the tokens in. And Sachit may want to add anything more to that, but um, what's the level of education alertness of on the part of the Australian businessmen like solar? Do you think they have grown into this, or do we need to be spending a lot of time and having them walk into the situation and understand that crypto tokens can be traded for on various risks and various activities? How do you see how educated are they in your view about the
Okay,
crypto transactions?
all right. For actually, to touch upon it, yes, we are working on crypto, not crypto. Yes, kind of crypto mining, but how? Let me share a little bit of background. But to answer to your first question, the Australian crypto market is quite mature, and there is no restriction to do the
Mm.
mining or do
Okay,
the crypto.
good.
So the government has not doesn't interfere much, but they monitor, they watch. There are certain rules and regulations, but it is open. Now, how we got involved into this crypto thing? Actually, as you know, my our business or our expertise in renewable energy and battery storage. So we provide, 24/7 solar power, even at night time with the help of battery and other technologies. Because in recent time, for any large solar farms, if they don't install with the battery, then connecting to the grid has become a big challenge, because grid is flooded or overloaded during the day certain period of time with the solar power, and this power is wasted. So because you need to store the power so that can be used at night or whenever the power is required. So some part of the country may need power now, some don't need. So that they're doing the smart grid things, and load balance and all these things. So anyway, so one of the company, a big mining company, crypto mining company in Australia, have approached us whether we can provide 24/7 power to one of their establishment. And I said okay, and they send the data and the dynamics, and then I did more studies on crypto, and apparently, actually, any data center is not only crypto. Any large like Facebook, Google's, they have huge power consumption. They all go to a places where they can buy cheap source of power or have their own renewable powers. So these are power is very expensive, and especially for crypto mining, the way the mining is done is no more rigs in your computer. Put some graphics cards and all these things have changed. So they have now come up with the ASIC machines. They are you know consume too much of power, a lot of noise, a lot of heats. So it's a special setup you need for that. And we have been involved, and now we are planning to do our own crypto mining. Of course, it will be what is that, Bitcoin. And
Right.
we have allocated 5 sites where it will be fully backed by the solar farms. Your company can take part or be a stakeholder in the projects. Already we have prototype running. When you come, we can show you. It's about 100 machines with ASIC machines, and now we want to expand in each site with 600 ASIC machines, and there will be 3,000 machines within next 1 to 2 years time. We will all solar power, and we call it a green crypto mining. We are part of one of the mining pool where we connected the machines, and and the pool generates the bitcoins and all these things, and then of course we trade. There's a trading platform. So and uh, and we work on that. So if you want to do your own crypto coin and currency and all these things, there are crypto process. You have to be registered with the with the pool, or how you want to do it, and with the trading platform. Because if you don't do the trading platform, then your currency has no value. So you have to. I think Imran, last night he shared with me a little bit. He is aware of that. He's more experienced in the field, and also Sachith. You can work out, and if you need our input, definitely we can help you to structure it first and do it. But I suggest that since we have kind of a ready infrastructure, we have the land, we have the resources, you can take part in our crypto mining solar projects, what we are doing, and that gives you and give us together more experience and knowledge to go have our own coin mining and things like that with the SFC concept.
Good,
That's fantastic,
Dr.
Doctor. Yes.
Nessa. Just I will ask my co-host to also talk to you, but let me just finish this technical side of it. When you mentioned that's really great. You know how you have started. You have gone ahead, well ahead than me in the crypto designs, but that's great. But why I say this is because crypto mining and opening up recycled material exchange and few other things fall right into the alley of SFC's work. Why I'm saying that is we have solar recycling as our main mandate, but we are flanked and joined by excuse me, a few sub projects to supplement our income.
Sure.
Because waiting for solar panels to age is a long and arduous journey, a wait. So what we do is we throw other things into the bag, and high yield, fast return things, fast in, fast out, and crypto is right up there. And so is that I would believe that solar recycle material facility, eBay type thing, which we'll find a good name for it. We have a call for a name, and that will supplement our short-term gains and medium-term standing on the one side. So it's very good what you just said. Just answer this question, Dr. Nisa. What's the cost of the grid electricity during day and night? Are there two tariff for feeding tariff to a facility? Is it based on
Yeah,
coal?
there are
Because
peak and off peak tariff. Usually the peak tariff is around 30 cents, off peak tariff is around 20 cents, 22 cents, depends on the utility provider. There are many providers, many providers have their rate. So but that's in
right.
an
So,
average, something like that.
but when you said peak time, your peak time must be falling in the time of the lighting houses and so on and so forth in the evening, right? Peaking time, or is it industrial time? the daytime?
Industrial time, morning time.
Okay, so that's when the grid electricity is expensive and it's largely bulk of the power within the grid is coal based. That's what you're saying.
Yes, it's a mixed energy: coal, gas, wind, solar. Uh, I will say coal is the most one. Still, I think 50 to 60% is
Mm.
still from coal. The gas is there. Renewable wind. There are many wind farms here also. So
So
wind is also
basically,
good.
okay, but the coal is commercially looking like it's cheap, while the externality and health costs are high for the government. So nobody bothers to calculate these into the unit price, as you well know, from coal,
Yes,
the smoke.
true, but
Yeah.
the coal actually seen after 1995 or 2000, not many coal power plants are taking place or they're expanding. The government has also mandated that by 2041, the whole country should be powered by renewables.
20,
And they're actually
okay, few years away.
one state called Tasmania is fully running on renewable on hydropower. They don't have any other power source. So, but of course they have a big dam and it's a huge hydropower they have built. So they have the advantage, and so that state is fully you can on renewable powers. Uh, Australian Capital Territory, I think, is 60 to 70% sourcing power from renewable.
Okay, that's great. Yet, you people, policymakers, for the knowledge of the audience here, is to throw in the idea of coal being cheap. It's not yet. It's not. It's has a very high health and social costs. So just throw in the uh, financial costs of coal and declare it. So in Sri Lanka, it's happening. Other countries, I know it's happening. So when you talk about a crypto mining facility or any other thing, which is we call it green energy, and if you're combining any form of grid energy, you need to compute the composition of the whole units within that grid through a smart grid. So that's a good thinking in your work. So I
Yeah.
will now leave it to Sachit and Kumu to finish off balance few questions which are on our sheets, our items at least, not questions so much. We jotted down. We wanted to have Dr. Nessar speak freely and openly without sticking to a question. So Sachit and Kumu, please go ahead.
Yes, actually,
Uh,
Dr. Nessar has answered most of the questions. So, Dr.
yes,
Nessar,
I think
I would,
doctor answered
yes,
in one go. That is,
Yeah.
yeah.
yeah, very interesting, very interesting.
So, Dr. Nessar, there was some article on PV magazine that stated New South Wales government is considering making rooftop solar compulsory. So, can the Australian grid manage such a capacity?
Actually, there's a talk. Nothing like that has happened yet. But as I said, people of their own interest, the homeowner, whoever owns a house, uh, we do many rooftop solar every week installation. So, and there are many companies like us also doing that. The people, because they want to save money, as I said, the high electricity costs, so the power bill comes down, and environmental impacts as well. And we are now doing with the battery storage, so they don't need to worry about peak or whatever. And there are some retailers with the battery, because there's so many grid power from on there's so many solar power on the grid during the day. So the utility provider also encouraged to have a battery connected, and they are offering highest feed-in tariff for the battery power system, 45 cents. So, and they can make money actually, no paying any electric bill, and the mechanism is such, and they'll be making $100 to $200 a month selling
That's
power to the
fascinating.
grid. So that's a good scheme. So that's kind of an encouragement and incentives.
Yes, that actually that's fascinating. Yeah, that data is very fascinating. So, Kumo, yeah, you can shoot some questions.
Yeah, actually, when I was going through this, the points that we wanted to discuss with doctor, doctor covered a lot of the majority of them in one during his speech. Uh, But I'm curious about recycling. Doctor, you said that there are some recycling plants and they are already into solar panel recycling, right?
Yes.
So what are the methods that they're using? What's the percentage of material that they recover? Do you have any idea about the methods that they're using for recycling?
I don't know. I haven't visited the recycling plant, so I really cannot say what method and how they do. But what I
Mm-hmm.
was told, I've been informed that they reuse the aluminum part of it,
Mm-hmm.
the glass part of it, some of which is but not much of inside the cell, the silicon, and all these things.
Okay. And who is when it comes to recycling, who do you think it's the responsibility of recycling? Uh, is it uh, is it the installer or the solar panel owner? So, who is
Actually,
who?
mm, it is the installer who highlight themselves that they are also environmentally conscious and taking care of this recycling. Because now when we for any new upcoming solar farms, because any project, big projects you do, you need approval and permission from the local council, the local government, then the state government, depend on the investment size, and if it is a really very big one, then it goes to the federal government for approval. And down the approval process, there are also clause on recycling and disposing of these panels when the life is over. You need to mention or highlight and to share something. It wasn't there before, so it's been, it is there. So
Okay. Doctor,
so
our
the
plan is to have a safety certification program
Yeah,
which
about
compels,
that.
installers,
Yes.
which compels installers to have standards, maintain standards even before they reach end of life, and they have to they pledge themselves for recycling. Are there any similar programs or are there any regulations to govern?
Not as
Uh,
yet, not as yet. I think timing is right, and that is
yeah.
something we can put in place. We can talk to CEC, the Clean Energy Council, who
Mhm.
are the main body in in controlling all these things, together with the Ministry of Environment, Energy, Resource, and Power. So so that we can work on that. We can start with the state, federal level, uh, and it have to be a federal level because the policy and stakeholders, and then it follows to the states. So yeah, there are a lot of work to be done to make it a policy level, and for that we need to have a dialogue, presentations, seminar, stakeholder engagement. So we need to organize events to create awareness. First of all, any new things you want to introduce or you need to add on, or it's not a new, but to concept, we need to create awareness among the people, stakeholders, and then formulate what can be done, how to do it.
So, Kumu, let me
Okay.
just steal
Yeah.
a minute. On
Yeah,
the on the
Doctor.
legislation, Dr. Nessa, Australia is an advanced country, and it's borrowed existing the expectation of the industrialists, meaning the solar users, the solar asset users, or the associations that is represented, the industry is represented through, is banking on, hoping on the legislation on the common waste laws of Australia, but it's being developed quite rapidly towards solar, so which is good thing. But as you may know, the European Union is quite well ahead in solar recycling legislation, as well as United States, the NREL, National Renewable Energy Labs, Colorado, and Solar Energy Industries Association of the USA, they also have developed the counterpart legislation. When we say so, SFC is building legislation. We are we are screening these legislative clauses into our common code of practice, because to develop standards and specifications is a very expensive thing to be done on your own. So what we do is we recommend a set of legislation which is applicable. However, that has to be passed through the Australian system because we can't be just adopting a legislation and which is not screened and passed by the Australian authorities. So this is our common work. Quite apart from putting up a solar panel factory or a facility, a whole bunch of other well-muscled approaches have to come in for the project. So the business case is a compendium of various efforts. Now I have to say that through our earlier Telegram, chats with our own SFC family, it has kind of been expressed that recycled solar panel, say, namely SFC recycled solar panel, like Adidas shoes or recycled cotton shirts, whatever. So we are talking about a brand new concept as well. This is another business case. And what do you think of it? Because we are already talking about talking to a Japan-based company which is also active in Sri Lanka. It's called Sakura Solar. They want to team up with us in Japan to take a similar model with small adjustments, but it's the same approach to make a recycled solar panel, which might have its own cost structure. Do you think this will be attractive in the Australian market because it's likely the first level of tranches of the solar panels, if we make it with Sakura or with you, for that matter, will be slightly expensive. The recycled material is always expensive because of the volume issue. So once you do recycling all over the place, then the costs come down. Do you think this will be taken up by the environmental minded the buyers of solar panels in Australia?
Sure, why
They
not?
are. Mhm.
Definitely, it will. It's a good initiative, good thoughts, and there, and everything. The concept is really good, and uh, people are environmental conscious nowadays. When we both you me did engineering, we have no idea of global warming, carbon footprint. Who cares? Back in the 80s and 90s, even early 90s. But things have changed. And when you go to the shopping center, everything is recycled. Recycled is the recycled bag. And here in Australia, they discourage to give you a shopping bag. They us prefer to bring your own bags. And they charge money. Before, back then when I came, it was free. So to protect the environment, protect the things. So the things are coming, things, new ideas, new concept, anything to help the environment will definitely work. And we need to have a stakeholder engagement. So it is not, and it's a long-term planning. We should have some strategies that and time frame that what will be in the short term, in the mid-term, in the long term, and how we do it. A roadmap need to be worked out, and then we can move on. So
Great. Yeah,
and
that's fantastic.
that need that need to be done from your end. How you want to move? We are there to extend all our possible cooperation and support.
Yeah,
You're also most
as I
welcome to in our investment platform what we are doing with the crypto mining and solar farms and so forth. And maybe we're the pioneer one to use your recycling panels and all that. So why not? We can do that in our
yes, that's
project.
fantastic. That's
Once we show
fantastic. And
ourselves what we are doing, that creates an
mm,
example people can follow, others can follow. In our project we
exactly.
can
But
sign up with SFC.
the Dr. Nisa, the concept of a recycled solar panel is brand new. There's nothing in the world like that, as far as I know. So if we can make it more like a 80, 90% plus recycled material panel, that will, I think, fly like a fly. Literally, the recycled cotton shirt, recycled bag, all that's a great business cases for our joint venture, which is already in
Sure,
place.
sure, sure.
So I'm very thankful to you for opening up in that direction and showing us the way there. So that's definitely on. We are hoping to have the Japanese arrive in Colombo. We are talking to them actually tomorrow to further the recycling model and the manufacture of our own brand of panels as well, which can to suit Australian and Kratos conditions we can move in a very good business model. The Japanese were also very intrigued by this the pad or SPE pad, which is introduced by the Save Planet Earth. So
Yes.
the SPE pad is a launch pad of many such projects. It's just not taken not by the main organization, but it's an associated arm of this Save Planet Earth, which they are just lending to us, no cost, just on good faith, to see the environment win. Because the whole thing is a compendium of environmental active projects which will give an environmental result. So we are slowly turning green. So I want to mention to you that we are covered by support from Save Planet Earth and its associated tools like the SPE pad. So it will be your resource as well when soon we'll hopefully will be in Australia, a team flanked also by Imran,
Yeah.
and we can talk broader business case very soon because we need to now touch on our physical work, which is the recycling part. I would urge you to please proceed with making very good positive contacts with recyclers. Recyclers, they run the double E part, the electrical and electronics activity. That's what they do. They don't much care, or they don't at least know about too much about solar panel, because the panels haven't aged enough in your system to become a ever flowing raw material. But soon it will be, because with the broken panels, the more handling, more broken parts will also come in. So we are having a simmering business pad platform which is coming up in your area. Well, huge. I believe you have 17,000 megawatts of solar already, 17
Yes,
gigawatts.
gigawatt.
So that's, yeah. So if uh, we are kind of not cautious. If we fine tune our thinking for the business case. There is a whole bunch of things to be done. So I think I want to just close on the discussion here, unless our two co-hosts, Sachit
Yeah.
and Kumu, have associated business case related questions.
Yes, actually, doctor.
Then
Yes.
we'll call for question answers from the audience.
So about the SPE pad, I want to say that the Japanese, the Sakura team, they want to launch on the SPE pad. The SPE pad means there's a token or crypto coin launching pad, environmental friendly. So a few days ago, they launched another environmental friendly token on the SPE pad as well. So that is going to help us raise more NFT, I mean, create more NFTs and bring more investments to the crypto mining sector in Australia. So
Yeah, Dr.
about the
Nessa, can you excuse me, Sachit, can you launch also quite independent? Maybe you haven't done this yet in the business case. Can you go into, I don't know how practical this is to um, have a mechanism through Kratos Energy to collect broken panels from the industry all over the place in Australia. Like, you have a mechanism, it's being generated, it's not covered by warranties and guarantees. Some some parts, components which are bringing, not the entire panels even. There must be tons and tons of broken material lying around the solar community in Australia. Is there any way you can create a business case or collection case to bring that panels into the respective recycling facility within various areas like
Yes,
Perth?
because I tell you, the biggest EPC company in Australia at the moment is one of the Indian company called Starling and Wilson, and they have installed. They have done the EPC work over 1 gigawatt of solar farm in Australia, and we are doing some projects together in terms
Good.
of engineering. So in those projects, there are damage, there are things. So that's very easy because I have access, and that can create a reference. So we can talk in some of the projects, and most of the projects in not very far, maybe within 100 200 kilometer radius. we can bring the panels recycling. But how you do it, we need to have the setup, we need to have the logistics, those things. As I said, we need to do a homework, a short term, long term. I don't agree to move on things on ad hoc basis. It have to be properly structured. Otherwise, as you know, in Australia, the cost of labor is very high, is very expensive, and it must be a sustainable business model. So we have to make a plan and do some homework, do some due diligence before we jump into the practical things.
Yes,
I think it's time has come to close the meeting. You're speaking side, Dr. Nissa, but I hope you will be kind enough to answer some questions which are now hopefully will
uh,
be put by our
Yeah,
listeners or
we'll share
public.
by email. If
of course.
something
Uh,
left out, we can always communicate. We can always talk over by email, or the this platform, the Telegram or WhatsApp, whatever. No problem.
yeah,
Actually, doctor,
right.
there was a question from one of our community member that he was asking, can we invest into mining Bitcoin? Also, could you buy back and burn with that mining? So that actually, Dr. Priyantha, I think that was the main plan we were working on from the very first moment, isn't it?
Yes.
So so what? Yes, and about the use case, I mean, our use case. I have one more question, doctor. So, in reference to Google, so solar rooftop started becoming popular in 2011 and 2012. Do you think how many rooftop solar owners in New South Wales from 2011?
Uh, Nearly 2 million.
Wow, that's awesome. Well, we can start
Yeah.
from there. Our use case has a lot of
Sachit,
opportunity in
let
there.
me sure, sure. Let me reverse back to the that mining question. Yes, we
Yeah.
definitely, it's our agenda is now we have done the engineering calculations. Dr. Nisa has done them. I have checked what he has sent me already just for the purpose of explanation. And I have done my own independent research being a solar and electrical engineer. And we basically are ready. I would believe this Australia will be the mining capital really soon because with the 17,000 megawatts in the feed in the grid and so coal being phased out. Truly, we're approaching a uh, carbon negative scenario here. So that's fantastic. And Dr. Nisa being our partner, that's a fantastic combination for SFC, and we have support from SPE who will support us because of our green endeavors. So yes, definitely we are talking about our interests to entertain the inquiries from investors and various other NFT and carbon uh, providers, carbon credit providers to go into a green-based crypto operation as well. Yes, thank you for that.
Dr.
Shall
Priyantha,
with that,
Thank you.
yes.
yes, shall
Sorry to
we,
bother you.
Sajid, yes, carry on. We'll allow one more question to you, Sajid, then we close.
Actually, yes, there are some actually couple more questions, I
Uh,
think.
all right,
Alan,
okay. I mean, if it's coming
yeah,
from
yeah,
the audience, sure, go ahead then because Doctor, Doctor Nessa is a
yes,
busy person. He must be giving lectures in the
of
morning, so
course.
we can probably take one or two final quick questions, quick answers
Yes,
as
it
well.
will take like a 1 minute or 2 minutes. So there is a member is asking, is it possible to recycle his own solar panels using SFC in the future, even in Europe? So and there was a yes.
Ask
Say it
questions
again.
to from Doctor Nessa. Yeah.
Yeah, please
Uh,
repeat the question, please.
Actually, it was about Europe. I think Dr. Priyantha can give an answer for that.
No, I think we'll leave that because
Yeah,
obviously we will go into Europe and we will be catering to that. But if it's Dr. Nissa's specific question, please ask because I know he has to go to the university and lecture as well. So,
exactly. So
any other
I
questions?
think there is no more questions. about Australian or NSW
A very
cases. So
clear business case, and I think we are marching towards a very good, green, very prosperous, very happy situation where we can be doing climate things, climate finance, and we are as one family of compendium of our SFC family to start with, then SPE family, so as a planet, and the staff there, as well as Dr. Nisa and the team there. So we are marching towards a good venture in Australia, and I'm confident Dr. Nisa will back us all the way with all this main project being recycling as well as sub projects. So, Dr. Nisa, it's been a pleasure talking to you today on behalf of Solar Full Cycle and also Save Planet Earth. Uh, so thanks for being with us, and let's catch up soon on another day. Thank you.
Thank you,
thank
Dr.
you.
Priyantha, Sachith, Kumu, and others. Hope
Thank you,
to
Doctor.
get in touch again.
And
You're welcome.
by the
Thank
way,
you,
I
Doctor.
have to say to you that Imran Ali, the founder of Save Planet Earth, is listening to this conversation right at this moment. Want to say hello to him? Yes.
Hi, Imran.
Yeah,
Yes. Thank you.
So,
And with that,
thank
okay.
we'll close the meeting. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you,
thank
everyone. Bye
thank
bye.
you very
Bye.
much for
Thank you,
joining us.
Doctor.
Thank you. Thank you, you
Have a
too.
nice day.
Bye. Bye bye. Bye.
Bye.
So also I want to thank our community for joining the AMA, and it was a very great AMA. I mean, there were a lot of questions and there are a lot of suggestions in the chat. So as we discussed in the AMA, we are working on a crypto mining project with Dr. Nessar very soon, and it will generate passive incomes to burn more SFC tokens. So I want to remind all of you that our team will be delivering all the messages and news on our Telegram channels. So keep in touch, guys. Have a good day. Bye bye.